Hi, my name is JD and today we're going to be checking out my Marshall Mode 4. So in this video I'm not going to do a little demo so you can hear what it sounds like in the track just because I've not got time and I wanted to get this video done, otherwise I would never make it. So we're going to go through the Marshall Mode 4, the history of the Marshall Mode 4, why it was hated, and why I've got this amp. So let's start with why I've actually got this amp. So the Marshall Mode 4 came out in 2003, I think, and it was my first big guitar amp. Previous to that, I'd had a little combo with a Digitech RP100 or 200, I think it was, and we used to run that in front of the clean combo, and that's how I'd get all my distortion effects and everything. That was when I was first starting out, and then as you get older and you start to learn about guitars and amps and stuff, started noticing that all the big bands were playing 100-watt heads and 4x12 cabs, so we wanted an upgrade. So I ended up getting the Marshall Mode 4, and my mate ended up getting a Marshall ABT 150 head, and both great sounding amps. For the time, I was super happy with mine. I think he was super happy with his. I always felt like the ABT sounded a bit better. He had a bit more balls, a bit more, I wouldn't say valve-like, but it just sounded better to my ears. The Mode 4 was always a bit cleaner and crisper, shall we say. A bit more mid-focused, but anyway, I wanted a high-gain amp, and I went to Dawson's, which is a local, well, it was a local music shop, and I said I wanted a head and a cab. So I paid $550, I think, for the head and $500 for the cab. And like I say, when I got it home, it was absolutely massive. I could not believe how big it is compared to what I used to have. And even compared to the Marshall ABT 150 head, mine was absolutely huge. Little did I realise that it was an oversized cab, that's why it was bigger. And the head is a full-size Marshall head. So I had this amp for about 7 years, or probably longer, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great amp, but as I got into knowing about amps, I ended up getting a valve amp. I think I got a PV6505, and then that was it then. Never looked back since. But I've always wanted to get one back and try it on this channel, just because I remember liking the amp. I know from online forums and stuff like that, it is a hated amp. The cab has got like a cult-like status where I think everybody generally agrees that the cab, excuse me, is a great cab, and it is a great cab. I've not got that cab anymore, but the amp was hated. There was only a few bands that I think were actually advertising it. There was Alex Skolnick from Testament, and I think the guy from System of a Down, I think he played one. I have seen a couple of videos with some people using them, but not anybody noticeable. And I think they stopped making them in 2008, so that was it. Once they'd gone, they'd forgotten in history. So I wanted to get one again, but I wanted one in mint condition, because you see these in England, they're around about 300 quid. And they're always battered and not in good condition. But I found this one, I got this for 200 quid. I'll put some pictures on screen. It's absolutely in mint condition. And it's got the green faceplate, which is the one that I had. I have seen some with like a brushed metal faceplate. I don't know if they were later versions or what, if they were actually different. But I had this one, and this is the one I remember having. So basically, the Marshall Mode 4 is a 4-channel amp. You've got 2 separate amps. Each have got its own preamp, actual preamp valve, ECC83, but it's a solid state power amp section. And compared to like an actual JSM 800 or something, even though it's 350 watts, when you play them side by side, there is just something about a valve amp. It's hard to describe, but if you try and match the volume, when you turn this up, it does get louder, but it still doesn't matter compared to a valve amp, because the valve amp just seems to fill the room, rather than this is more like a focus sound. So you're always trying to catch up. If you turn the volume up, you'll be a bit louder, you start chugging, and then you'll just get lost. You'll get lost against another valve amp. Oh, That being said, I think for the price this is a steal. I will say that it's probably null and void now because in close to 2025, this is no point in buying this amp for anybody, unless I've bought this for a nostalgic reason. But anybody else, I can't really recommend it because for 200 quid, you could probably get a Line 6 pod or something, and you will probably get a lot better sounds, and it's smaller. This has got 2 fans on the back. It's loud. It's heavy. I can't recommend buying it, but I would try one if you can get your hands on one, if it's cheap enough and you've got the room. So anyway, it's a 4-channel amp. We've got clean, all crunch, overdrive 1, overdrive 2. When I had this, I only ever used this side, because this is like a clean channel, and you've got like a JCM 800, I think OD1's supposed to be like a JCM 900, and OD2 is supposed to be a JCM shit, because it was absolutely awful, that channel. I hated it. It was fizzy, it was muddy, you couldn't clean it up, and I am interested to see what I can get out of it now, because with a bit more knowledge, because I absolutely hated that. And like I said, it's loud. It's got 2 scoop buttons on it, which from what I remember are pretty much useless, because as soon as you scoop them, they scoop them that much, you instantly get like that early Metallica, what's it called, Justice for All tone. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad tone, but you can't really do anything else with it. But we will try it. If you bump up the mids with the scoop button in, it gets slightly more manageable. You've got a resonance and presence, which from what I remember don't really do much. And on this amp too, you've got a tone matrix, which I think is like a fixed depth knob, which you can just turn. It's got 3 settings, which also I don't think did much. I think it just added a bit more beef to it. So let's get through some sounds. It's 7 minutes in. I am running this through at the moment, this Fender Telecaster, Mexican Strat Telecaster. It's going into the Boss Noise Suppressor. We will be using an MXR modified overdrive pedal, but it's not on at the moment. Into that, we're going into the Spawn 1x12 with a Neumann TLM 102 and a Heil PR20 microphone on. It is going through the Fire Power Station, and I'll put a picture on screen of the Fire Power Station. Everything else is off except we've got this deep, warm and flat switch. I have actually put that switch into the warm setting because I think it just, with solid state amplifiers, they kind of lack a bit of like balls and a bit of like bass, and this has just added that to make it sound better. You could do this with an EQ pedal, just bump up a bit of the lows, but that's what I've found, and it helps the sound significantly. So, right, let's try some sounds. So this is tuned to E, and this is what it sounds like. We're on the clean. I'll put the pictures on screen. As you can tell, it's a very nice clean channel, as you would expect from a solid state amp. So I'm just going to put some effects on, just so we can get the true capabilities of what the clean channel can do. So we've got the Boss Chorus CE2, the Boss SD3000 Eddie Van Halen digital delay, and we've got a Strymon Blue Sky, the small version. I'll put the settings on screen, but obviously the Boss digital delay, you won't really know what delay settings are. Anyway, sounds like this. So as you can tell, lovely clean channel. This album's got 2 fans on the back which are absolutely noisy as hell, which I hate. Bit like the Mesa Mark III, that's got a fan but I've unplugged that one. I wouldn't like to risk unplugging these ones in case it breaks, but one thing to know about this, it's 20 odd years old this amp now, so Marshall's build quality, I get that like some people think it's bad, but it's 20 years old, you can't argue, it's still working and it's in great condition. Probably break now, like, but anyway, let's go to amp 1. So obviously change guitars, we're going to go with the LTD MH1000 ET. This is tuned to D and it's got Fishman Fluence modern pickups in. We're on amp 1, I'll put the settings on screen. This is like the Crunch JCM 800 style and there's no boost, and this is what it sounds like. So as you can tell, not a lot of gain. Sounds quite scoopy, but I've got the mids quite low. So I'm going to engage the boost now. I'll put the settings on screen, and hopefully this is the sound that I used to love. So I'm just going to turn the bass down a bit to more like 1 o'clock, and the mids up to about 11 o'clock. So personally, I think that sounds really good. It has got that solid statey kind of sound to it, but I think it sounds good. I could easily use that in a mix. I would probably turn down the gain a bit and double track it, but I think you would get a decent sound out of that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the scoop button, and you're going to see literally what it does to it. It just turns it into like that. It reminds me of like Blackened from Metallica. It's a very, very, very scoop sound. It goes for like the death metal. It's not for me though. So with the scooped up, I'm going to turn the mids up to about 2 o'clock, and we'll see if we can get it to sound better. So it sounds better than it did Scoots, but it's got a lot of treble now, so we back the treble off. It sounds okay. It's probably not my best setting. It is a bit fizzy. I don't really want to spend too much time on this because we're at 20 minutes already, and the last video I did, for some reason, they're going up to like 40 minutes, and I appreciate if you're watching the whole video because it means a lot, but it is a long time. So now we're going to go to OD1, which is on amp 2. I think this is supposed to be like a JCM 900 kind of tone. So this is what it sounds like. Actually sounds alright. It's not as bad as I remember. It's probably a bit too much gain. I'm just going to flip between the tone matrix and you can hear what it does. this is 1, 2, 3. I think it sounds better on 1. This sounds okay. Let's put the scoop in. This is going to sound awful. I mean, it does sound shit, but it sounds good at the same time. It's got that weird, like... It reminds me of, there's a lot of guitar sounds now with the introduction of Nail the Mix and stuff like that and modelers. Everything has become very similar. Everybody's using the Celestion V30, the SM57. They're trying to get the same. They're using PV5150s or Dual Rex, and they're trying to get the same sound. This reminds me of a time where bands sounded completely different from each other, even using the same gear. And I'm not saying this is a great sound, but it just reminds me of like a completely different sound that you can get out of an amp, and it makes you play different. Not the best sound, but back to the scoop out. So, sounds okay. Now we're going to go to the shit channel. OD2. I apologise. There is so much gain there. Let's back the gain off to about 11 o'clock. I think it still sounds shit. It does not sound good. It's so fizzy, and we'll back the gain, put the gain on to like 9 o'clock. Sounds absolutely awful. So what I'm going to do is, because the video is getting long now, 24 minutes, I'm going to try it in drop C, because I think that's what it was meant for, lower tunings. Bear in mind the gain is on 9 o'clock, which is pretty much like very, very low. Now I have got a boost, but that should just be tightening it up. The phone's ringing. No, you can buy it. That does not sound good. That does not sound good. Let's turn the mids up, and we'll turn the gain down even more. That does just not sound good at all. That sounds like shit. So, yeah, channel 4, amp 2 still sounds like shit. I'm going to try and see if I can get it to sound good. No, I'm not. It sounds like shit. I can't get that to sound good. Let's scoop it, see if that helps. That's what that sounds like. It just sounds crap. I'm not even going to bother. But back to Amp 1 JCM 800. I think this is probably the best sound out of this amp. Not that. That's scooped. Put the mids back. There's a lot of bass there. Put a bit more. Ah, right. Turn the treble down, didn't I? Right, so we're at 27 minutes now, so I think that's probably enough for this amp. I think it sounds really good. You can get some decent sounds out of it, and because it's 4-channel, the clean's great, the overdrive one's great. I actually, yeah, the crunch and the overdrive one sounded great as well. Let me just have a quick go on that. Not scooped. It's good for like a rhythm tone, maybe not leads, but yeah, it sounds good for more like a rhythm tone. Is it the best amp ever? No. Is it worth 200 quid? Not in today's money. I wouldn't buy it, but I'm going to keep it because nostalgic reasons. It was my first proper amp that I got, and I like it, and I can actually get some decent sounds out of it, even if I just use it for the clean, because the clean is really good on it, and all my amps are valve amps, so you never really get that true clean. This is true clean, sounds really good. But I think what I might do with this, or try, is to blend it in with some other amps. A bit like, was it Carcass who did blended in a valve state with a 5150? Just adds a bit of sizzle. This might do the same thing, so I might try that. Just add it, blend it in with some amps, and just see if I can get it to sound good. And for the fact it's 200 quid, it's not doing anyone any harm now. I'm not that bothered. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully, I will be doing more videos. The next one will probably be the Mesa Mark III. Don't know what I'm going to do with that one because same thing with the rectifier. There's that many settings, where do you even start? I might just chug on it. But anyway, thanks for watching and I will see you on the next one.